All right, guys, welcome back. UFC 327. Miami is going down in like a day or so. Saturday. It's Friday right now, so I'm getting a last minute prediction out for you guys. Really excited about this card. It would have been sick if Joshua Van was on the card. That would have been cool, although I do think he was going to get stomped by Tatsuro Taira. And I think Joshua Van's hype is a little bit overhyped. He's good, but bro didn't really beat Pantoja. And also, he did get fraud checked by Charles Johnson, as everybody else does. But I digress. Anyways, we got a sick card here. I'm going to go through it, give you guys all my predictions and breakdowns for all the fights. A little H2O in the morning. And then I'm going to give you guys all my my feedback on all the fights and how they went at the end of it. I mean, if you guys have been watching like some of the, I guess, press conference stuff and everything leading up to it, this guy right here, Mr. Josh Hokit, I mean, we knew from the moment he came in on fucking Dana White's Contender Series, he's going to be a character. I really think he's another one of these guys who's really not that he's not that stupid. He's really playing it up well. And honestly, man, we need more characters like him in the UFC. People are saying it's cringe or whatever. This guy has got the most media time out of anybody on this card. The most, at least, people always say like, any press is good press, right? He's got the most talked about. He's the most talked about fighter on this card by far. And we'll get into it, but if he runs through Curtis Blades, he's on a hype train, man. He's like 2 fights away from a title shot if he runs through Curtis Blades. Maybe one fight. Like, he beats Curtis Blades, he has one more fight, he's getting a title shot, in my opinion. Like, his run through the UFC should be studied because he's had we can look at it. We'll dive into all the fights and I'll give you my predictions quickly, but I think he's had like 3 fights in the UFC now. This will be his third one, and he's going to be looking at a title shot in like the span of 4 to 5 fights, and he's only 8-0. Like, there's a lot of guys that are 8-0. I know I have friends that train MMA that are like 11-0 and aren't even in the UFC. I know heavyweight's a different fucking story, and to be fair, Josh Hokit should probably fight at light heavyweight because bro is a little undersized for heavyweight. I think he just fights at heavyweight because the competition sucks. But dude, if he wins one more fight, like he's there for the title, honestly, which is insane. Do I think he gets through some of the better guys at heavyweight, like Volkov and Cyril Gane and those guys? No, I think he's too small and he's not skilled enough for that. But either way, good on him. This should be a banger fight. I mean, the fight cards in Miami always go crazy, so I'm excited for that. We got blockhead himself, Mr. Francisco Prado. This dude is he's a weapon, man. He's a meathead weapon. His technique isn't like actually too bad. Both these guys, Charles Radke is actually pretty good as well. They're not bad UFC fighters. Just Francisco Prado, he's fighting up at 170 and he's 5'10", which is honestly not super small, but he's definitely undersized for the division typically. And he uses his dome. He uses his dome to absorb a little bit too much punishment each fight. And he's kind of one of these guys that's like a little bit stockier. He's kind of has this stocky like pocket boxing style like Ilya and stuff like that, but he's not able to implement it the way that somebody fighting in that style would have to, mainly because he's not quite as clean with like the counter shots and the slipping and ripping and stuff. And he's a little bit underpowered and outsized at this weight class. And I don't know why he's taller than Charles Radke, but I have a feel. I always feel like he's he's always the smallest dude in these fights. Anyways, he's big, strong, muscular, and he does pack a punch, but he doesn't have like the one hitter quitter kind of knockout power that like you kind of have to worry about with like these really like the Kevin Vallejos and the Ilia Toporias and the Larion Silvas, I believe that guy's name was. That was in like a couple cards ago. That like just insane power in the boxing. Yeah, but he is good, and every fight Francisco Prado is in is an entertaining fight. It's a war. It's a good fight. Same with Charles Radke. He doesn't really have many boring fights as well. He's another like well-rounded, good MMA fighter who shows up in shape, unlike some people in the UFC, and he's pretty good all around. Is he like insanely good or like the next prospect? Both of these guys, no, but should this be an absolute banger at 170? Yeah. And it's a tough fight for both these guys. I do think I'm going to go with Charles Radke on this one. I think he'll just have the more well-rounded skills, like when it comes to mixing and takedowns, grappling, all that kind of stuff, cage work. And I also think he's going to have a little bit of a power advantage. I know based on the stats that he's technically a smaller man, but I think when we're watching the fight, he'll seem a bit bigger than Prado. And Prado just gets hit a lot, man. I do think he's got a chin on him, so that's where Charles Radke's got to be careful, because I don't think he's going to have an easy time hurting Prado, and Prado can hurt him. But I think Charles Radke's going to win this one by decision, so I'm going to go with Charles Radke. First fight of the night. Up next, we got Kevin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. Bro, why can't I click on this? We got a battle of the... It's not dropping down here. Man, this website, UFC's website sucks, man. Honestly. Anyways, doesn't matter. We got a battle of the unks. Kevin Gastelum, as much as I fucking hate him, because his whole thing is like, I'm on a quest for gold, bro. No, you're on a quest for quesadillas, man. You're like missing. I think he's missed way more than anybody else in the UFC. I don't know. I mean, I understand how he's still in the UFC, but man, he really doesn't show up for fights in shape or like, bro, he just doesn't. You can just tell he doesn't put the effort in the training. But besides all of that, he does have good skills. His boxing, his striking is really quite good, and he's fast. And dude just eats fucking anything that comes his way, like in terms of punches and kicks inside the octagon. Like you're gonna have a hard time submitting Kevin Gastelum, because he's pretty good everywhere. Vicente Luque, in my opinion, will not be able to submit Kevin Gastelum, and he's kind of just good everywhere. But he's really quite good in the boxing, the stand up with, like, I mean, he went 3 rounds with Joe Pyfer. He's gone obviously with Israel Adesanya, like full 5 rounds. A bunch of other really good strikers in the UFC, and he holds his own. He is up like a high weight class because he's just eating too much. Like, this dude should be at like 155, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. But he's still, like, despite his lack of discipline in the eating areas, he is still good. Like, he does still have some good skill level, and he usually gets by all the people in the bottom half of the top 15. But dude, Vicente Luque, in my opinion, is just not it. He's not it, bro. There was a time where Vicente Luque was like, oh man, he's enough. He's a prospect. He's so good, so scary. But dude, I never really thought he was that good. He was good, but he's not insane. He's another one of these very ploddy, unlike naturally athletic strikers. And those guys, like, if you're going to be ploddy and be like this really slow strike, like, he is so slow twitch. Like, Kevin Gastelum's going to beat him to every single punch in the striking, no problem. If you're going to be really, really ploddy and stuff like that, you still have to be fast twitch and explosive. Like, if you're going to be flat-footed, just walking people down, you have to be like an Ilya or like a Kevin Vallejos, where you're able to explode with big shots and KO people. And Vicente Luque is just slow in general. Yeah, I don't know. And he's old. He's not that good anymore. He's not near as good as he used to be. So I think Kevin Gastelum should be able to beat Vicente Luque really easily. I don't think Vicente Luque is going to be able to KO him or hurt him, because obviously Joe Pyfer can't, bro. Vicente Luque is not, and he's just too slow. He's too slow, too low output, and he just lets fights get away from himself that way. So yeah, I think he's gonna get cooked by Kevin Gastelum, which is crazy to say because Kevin Gastelum is it's fucking Kevin Gastelum. But I digress. This dude right here, Chris Mr. Taco Padilla, dude, I like this guy. I think he's mad underrated. He's on a big win streak in the UFC right now, I believe. Let's go check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's won every fight in the UFC. He's on a 4-fight win streak. I know he's 17-0, but he's on a 4-fight win streak right now inside the UFC. And not all of his fights have been like bangers, but he's he's one of these fighters that's very, very technical, like with his game planning, with what strikes and what techniques he's using against certain fighters. He's a problem for a lot of these guys in this division because he's just very methodical, well thought out with his game planning, and he knows what he needs to do to get wins inside the UFC and to get wins in general. And I think he's one of the more underrated guys in this division. He's not the most athletic, he's not the most standout guy, but dude, he's got good striking, he's got good takedown defense, good grappling. He's very, very good at game planning. And he uses a lot of strikes like elbows and stuff like that are going to cause damage and hurt people when he needs to in certain specific fights. Like if there's fights where, somebody's going to charge him and back him up, he's like good at circling out. And then he's also good at like stepping in with elbows and stuff like that. He's a good fighter, man. I think Chris Padilla is very underrated. And Marcos Medeiros. I mean, I have watched a couple of fights. Let's see what his last fight was in the UFC. He fought Choinsky, Hubbard. I mean, Quinones and Hubbard are not good wins. Choinsky's not really a good win. Decision. Chris Padilla is kind of decision. This is going to be a decision fest, bro, because Chris Padilla doesn't really finish people. Anyways, I do think I'm going to go with Chris Padilla in this one. I think he's just too good at game planning, and he's got more experience, and I think he's just more well-rounded than Medeiros. And he's shown that he can get hit with big shots and survive just fine. So I'm going to go with Chris Padilla in this one. Up next, we got Tatiana Suarez versus the witch from the north herself, Lupe Gordinas. That is just that's an intimidating sight right there. I mean, that is not a better sight either. We got women's MMA. I'm not excited for this fight, to be honest. It'll be kind of interesting to see who kind of wins these exchanges. Because Lupe Gordinas is a good grappler herself. And all Tatiana Suarez does is fucking grapple. She is like a female version of Patchy Mix, but just not good either. So not that she's not good. She's good. I mean, she's lost her only losses. I think her only loss recently was to Zhang Weili, where she got absolutely smoked because she couldn't get her grappling going. Yeah, she lost to Zhang Weili, and then I think she beat everybody else inside the UFC, right? Yeah. Let's see how many wins she's on. Wow, she was on a fat win streak, actually. She's not super active, but to be 12-1 is quite good. She's just very, very dominant in the grappling. And unless you have really good grappling defense or you're really athletic and well-rounded, like Zhang Weili or like Valentina and stuff like that, up weight class, then you'll be fine against Tatiana Suarez. But if you're not, like if your grappling stats aren't at like 85 to 90%, you're gonna get cooked by her. But her striking is abysmal. Her grappling output is good, but like, you know, it's nothing insane. Like, she doesn't go for like crazy damage or anything or submissions on the ground. It's more just dominance. I do think she beats Lupe Gordinas, though. Lupe Gordinas' grappling is not going to be good enough to stop Tatiana Suarez, in my opinion, and I don't think her striking is good enough either to hurt her or to like finish the fight. So I think Tatiana Suarez might lose a round, like just getting unable to get like a solid takedown and do enough like control time. But I think she'll get it in another round. Up next, we got Mateusz Gamerot versus Esteban Ribovic. Brother. This one's a good fight. I mean, I'm sorry, Mateusz Gamerot, we're all cheering for Esteban Ribovic. He's the significantly more entertaining fighter. He always puts on bangers, and he's got a way better fighting style, way more entertaining fighting style than you, Mateusz Gamerot. This is a tough fight because it is a kind of a nightmare matchup for Ribovic, to be honest, because Mateusz Gamerot is just so fucking good in the grappling. Like, I think he's going to have such a big grappling advantage over Esteban Ribovic, and I think Esteban's going to have a really hard time stopping just the pressure and the grappling of Mateusz Gamerot. However, we have seen a lot of good strikers be able to shut down what Mateusz Gamerot does, but those guys are all, like, I think on a level higher than what Esteban Ribovic is. Dan Hooker was able to stop Mateusz Gamerot, or win a decision against Mateusz Gamerot, sorry. But Esteban Ribovic, I don't know if he's on Dan Hooker's level. He might be. We're going to find out. But Dan Hooker does some things that like work really well against people like Mateusz Gamerot. Lots of stabbing front kicks, lots of strikes that keep people at range. He's very, very good at going for that guillotine whenever Mateusz Gamerot shot in. These are things that I don't know if Esteban Ribovic like necessarily has that it will work for him. He's going to be good at stuffing takedowns, but Mateusz Gamerot, like, you'll stuff his takedowns, but he just keeps chain wrestling and chain grappling to get the takedowns, and he's one of the best grapplers in the division. So, like, unless you're a Charles Oliveira, Arman Sarukian, that kind of level, like, you're going to end up spending some time on the ground, and he does do a good job of getting some damage in. Could I see Esteban Ribovic, like, KOing him or finishing him? Yeah. Esteban's output's so high that especially if he gets you hurt, he's going to just pour on the output, and he could get Mateusz Gamerot out of there. The smart decision, the smart choice is to go for Mateusz Gamerot for sure. I'm going to do something off the books. I'm going to go for Esteban Ribovic to win here by finish, but nightmare matchup for him, so don't put your money in that one. Up next, we got Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown, bro. Fuck Randy Brown, bro. He's boring. I'm kidding. Randy Brown's a good striker. He's got a really good jab. He's got lots of range. I think Kevin Holland's going to win this one. It's just one of those fights where it's a Kevin Holland fight. So you have no idea if he's gonna show up and win or not. Like if Kevin Holland is in top form, he beats Randy Brown in my opinion quite easily. But we could get a Kevin Holland who just gets cooked. But we'll see. I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland. I think he just throws bigger punches. He's gonna be able to hurt Randy Brown. He's got a good chin, and any kind of grappling scenario, Kevin Holland's gonna have a huge advantage. So. And he's more wild. Randy Brown likes to fight like a nice technical, clean fight. And Kevin Holland mixes it up and makes it like very off the books, I guess, if that makes sense for the fight. Like I think he's going to make it a very weird, wild fight that Randy Brown is not necessarily like typically used to. Up next, we got Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico, a battle of the whatever promotion. PFL, Bellator, Dude, interesting to match these guys up. I don't hate it. Like people are saying, like, why would you waste the matchup on like these two guys? But I really don't hate it. I think it'll be fun, an interesting fight to see. Just both these guys. These are like the two signings with Patchy Mix from other promotions that had so much hype coming in. Obviously, Patricio Pitbull's older now. I wonder if it tells me his age if I click on his thing. I think he's got to be like close to 40 now, eh? Doesn't have his age in there. He lost to Rodriguez because he had zero output. I honestly thought his fight against Dan Ige was super close, and he could have gone to Dan Ige as well. He hasn't looked great inside the UFC. Just very low output, and he's just going to decisions because he has no intensity to his fighting style. It's low output. Aaron Pico is the opposite. He went into his fight with Lerone Murphy just guns blazing and just going straight for the finish. I think he's going to do the same. People are saying he's not going to do the same against Pico. He's going to be concerned, or Patricio Pitbull is going to be concerned about his chin getting knocked out again. I think he's going to do the same thing. I think he's going to come out like 110%, just trying to take Patricio Pitbull out of there. And I honestly think he will. I think Aaron Pico is the best new signing of those three. I think he just fought a really good fighter in Lerone Murphy and got hit with like not necessarily a lucky shot, but like a 1 in 10 shot. Like that shot doesn't land that clean very often. Like I think you set up that scenario like again, I would say 3 times out of 10 that elbow lands clean like that and KOs Aaron Pico. I know his chin isn't like the best, but I think like the other 7 times he just keeps swarming Lerone Murphy, and honestly maybe if he gets a finish, because he was doing a really good job in that fight up until he got absolutely molested by that elbow. But I think Aaron Pico is going to get done. I think he's going to get done by finishing the first round. So I think that's maybe a controversial take, but I think he's got it. I think Patricio Pitbull's output is so low for Aaron Pico that if Aaron Pico just puts it on him, I think he's going to be able to overwhelm him. Up next, we got Cub Swanson versus Nate the Train Landwehr, bro. This dude, he fights like Darren. There's always like a couple of these guys, like Nate the Train, Darren the Damage Elkin, bro. That they're from the South, and they're just some hicks, bro. They're just some hicks with some mediocre fighting style and just grit, unprecedented levels of grit. And he's one of those guys. He doesn't really have the same chin that somebody like Darren Elkins had. But he does have. He's going to be one of these guys that's going to bring a war to you and make it an ugly fight and make it a nasty fight for as long as it lasts. I think Cub Swanson is just he's too good. He's too technical for Nate Landwehr. I think he should be able to beat him. He's kind of just better everywhere. Like he's better in the striking. He's going to be better in the grappling. He's going to be able to keep Nate Landwehr at range and just piece him up in the striking for the most part, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Cub Swanson. I think that's a pretty easy one. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Another interesting fight, a battle of the chins here. Both these guys get KO'd super easily. Johnny Walker, I've said this before in other videos, he's like the most athletic, unathletic person ever. Like he looks so athletic. He does so many athletic things, but he also has such shitty movement patterns. Like the way he moves, the way he does specific things are just so bad. But anyways, he's very interesting. Dominic Reyes also looks like he always shows up like a little bit out of shape recently. Anyways, like you don't need a muffin top, bro. Like he could easily look like Johnny Walker. Like he could get into Johnny Walker shape, but instead he shows up like this. But it is what it is. I think Dominic Reyes is the way cleaner striker, the way more technical striker. I think he has more power than Johnny Walker. I think he's better than Johnny Walker everywhere the fight goes. The question is who lands a big clean shot first. I would say Dominic Reyes has the better chance because of his skills to land a big clean shot that's gonna put away Johnny Walker. I thought Johnny Walker was going to lose to that last guy he fought, and he honestly was kind of getting beat a little bit, but he was blasting some nice low kicks. But I think Dominic Reyes should win this one. I think it's the smart bet to put money on Dominic Reyes. One of them is going to get finished, I think, in this fight, and I think Dominic Reyes has just got the better ability to land that shot. He's really good at countering, especially somebody like Johnny Walker who's just throwing wild shots. You'll be able to counter him. So I'm going to go with Dominic Reyes to get this one done with a finish. Up next, we got Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hokit. This dude, like I said earlier in this video, he's speed running the UFC right now. Dude, Curtis Blaydes is like this. Is just shrugged up like. And Josh Hokit looks like a little mini refrigerator. He's not big. He's really not big for heavyweight. You saw his last weigh-in, 235. And, heavyweight limit, you got people like Curtis Blaydes weighing in at almost 160. So definitely not big. He's going to have a problem in the grappling and stuff with Curtis Blaydes just because of the size difference. But I really don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. Josh Hokit, if he fights like he does in all of his other fights, he has such high output. He puts a pace on people. Yeah, he gets a little bit tired, but bro, Curtis Blaydes he's way more out of shape than Josh Hokit. He's going to get tired before Josh Hokit. And in the grappling and stuff like that, unless Josh Hokit gets completely flattened out in his back, I think he's going to be just fine. He's way more athletic than all these guys. He's got a lot of good natural scrambling ability. He moves like in the grappling scenarios like quickly, fast. Curtis Blaydes is super slow in everything he does. So I think Josh Hokit's going to get it done. I think that's maybe a controversial, but I think Josh Hokit, he's going to put the same pace he puts on everybody else. And he's going to overwhelm Curtis Blaydes. And the thing with somebody, even though Josh Hokit's a little bit small for heavyweight, if he lands 3 or 4 good shots, it's going to kind of damage you. And Curtis Blaydes has awful defense anyways, no head movements. He's just going to go like this. And Josh Hokit's just going to keep throwing punches and swarm until either Curtis Blaydes gets more hurt and gets TKO'd or the ref stops the fight. So I'm going to go with Josh Hokit to get it done in the first or second round. I think the output's too high for Curtis Blaydes, honestly. I think Curtis Blaydes doesn't have the output. I think Josh Hokit's athletic enough to avoid the takedowns, the ground and pound. And if it does end up at the ground, I can see him just holding position till the end of the round. So I'm going to go with Josh Hokit. Up next, we got the professional. Dude, this milk bag, bro, at light heavyweight is just decimating everybody. He's 16-0. He's getting, I think almost all of his fights are finishes, man, which is crazy. Finish Rakic, finish Ribeiro in the first round, finish Menafield in the second round, decision, finish in the third. He's really only got, and these are all against big guys. It's like a lot of guys that are way bigger and taller than Azamat Merzakhanov. He's only had one decision in the UFC. All the rest are finishes, which is crazy to say. But how often do we see Paulo Costa get flatline KO'd or finished like that? Not very often. He's only lost 4 fights. That's crazy. I feel like Paulo Costa's lost more than 4 fights, but dude, yeah, wild. He beat Kopylov. He lost to Strickland. That's understandable. Lost to Whitaker. That's understandable. Lost to Vettori, but that was a really close fight, and I thought maybe he could have won it, and then lost to Izzy. So he's really only losing to Vettori's the only guy on here, but he's a title challenger himself. The only guy that Costa has lost to that isn't a champion is Vettori. And Vettori's been a guy that's been around for a while, and that was a close fight. He could have won that fight. Otherwise, he's just won, man. He's just won all these fights. Did he win against Romero? Yeah, he must have. Anyway, sorry, I'm just digging in my nose there. It's itchy. Paulo Costa, he's one of these guys that he's actually he has a loss to Vettori and a loss to Strickland, but people kind of forget that he's one of the guys that's been at the top of this division or the division below forever and like fighting really, really well, like against a lot of the best guys. I think he's going to be a problem for Azamat Merzakhanov. Merzakhanov could KO him, and I mean, stats say that he's 16-0, so he could KO him. But Paulo Costa is very athletic. He's got a fucking hell of a chin on him. And you guys seen the video where he just some of the like he gets spinning back kicked and he's alive still. I've never really seen Paulo Costa get like dropped by a punch. Like Izzy was just leg kick damage, overwhelm, TKO that way. Merzakhanov's not going to do that. The only way Merzakhanov wins this fight, I think, in my opinion, is if he one-shot KOs or like drops Costa and then jumps on him, which could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Paulo Costa, if he brings the same kind of energy as he does when he's confident, he's just trying to murder somebody and goes after Merzakhanov, I think he's going to get a finish here. So I'm going to go with Paulo Costa to win by finish, but it'll be an interesting fight. This one's an interesting one for sure. Last but not least, we got Carlos Ahlberg, which is how I think we all feel about Carlos Ahlberg. It's just like, he's a good fighter. He's just a very like unentertaining fighter in the aspects of like personality wise. He's just very chill. He's just a very chill dude. Like his fights are very chill. Like he, at the beginning of his career, he's like kind of just going after people trying to get finishes. Now it's kind of just technical, win by decision. Maybe if there's a finish there, I'll go for it. Point kickboxing style. And same on the mic, same kind of vibe. He's just a chill dude. And then we have Yuri Prochazka, who's just an absolute fucking demon, bro. This guy, he's on every level of the spectrum when it comes to fighting and just life in general. He's very, very a unique individual, and his fighting style is very unique as well. The only way, in my opinion, Carlos Ulberg wins this fight is if he TKOs Yuri. Like he has to KO Yuri. Like only the only person. I think the only person that has done it in the UFC has been Pereira, right? So he has to KO Yuri like Pereira did. Otherwise, he's not winning. Like Yuri's only lost to Pereira in the UFC. Otherwise, he's just been dominant at light heavyweight. Yeah, I think Carlos Ulberg will hurt Yuri at some point, and I think it'll look like maybe he gets him out of there, but we've seen that so many in Yuri fights where he gets hurt and it's fucking on site after that. He's coming for you. The problem with Carlos Ulberg, lower output. He's more technical than Yuri, but lower output. And I don't think he's ready for just the chaos that Yuri brings. Like, if he doesn't KO Yuri, there's no way this fight lasts 5 rounds, because we'll see second, third round, Yuri will just step up the level of intensity, the level of output, the level of madness, to a point where he's going to finish you or he's going to get finished. Like, Yuri fights never go to a decision, mainly just because he's do or die, especially when it comes into like the second, third round. And if he's lost a round, he's do or die. He's going to finish you or he's going to lose. And I don't see Ahlberg finishing him. I mean, I can see him hurting him for sure. I don't see Ahlberg finishing him. Yuri's kind of like that video of like Tyson Fury where he just gets flatline KO'd by Deontay Wilder and then like rises back from the grave. It's pretty much what Yuri does, bro. But yeah, it's going to be a very tough fight for Carlos Ahlberg. I think when you look at it technique-wise, Carlos Ahlberg's going to be like, I'm going to be able to piece this guy up all day. But the problem is there's a certain point in the fight where Yuri's getting kind of pieced up and he just goes, okay, your technique doesn't matter anymore because I'm going to make this an absolute fucking war. And at that point, technique kind of goes out the window. When he does what he does to clear around you, where he just insane pressure, insane output, just throwing bombs, you either have to be able to KO him or you're going to get overwhelmed, right? You're not going to be able to just be defensive, slipping all those punches for the next 20 minutes or 15 minutes of a fight. Like, if you have Yuri coming at you full blast trying to take your head off, you have to take his head off first. Like, that's the only way. Or you have to mix in grappling, take him down, control him. But I don't think Carlos Ahlberg will be able to do that against Yuri either. So I'm going to go with Yuri Prochazka to win this fight. How crazy would it be to see him get his belt back? That would be awesome. It would be crazy to see him go up to heavyweight as well, maybe one day. But I don't know how he fares there. But Yuri's one of those guys that's just you always want to see him do. You always want to see him do well. So yeah. Anyways, that's my predictions for this UFC Miami fight. Obviously, it would be sick to see Joshua Van on there against Tetsuya Taira, but it looks like they rebooked that fight anyways. Let me know what you guys think for predictions, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe. We are at 700 subscribers on the MMA YouTube channel. That's a big deal. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys for the breakdowns after the fight on Saturday. Deuces.